Today we'll be doing Perek, Kaf Bet, and Kaf Gimel and Chumash Vayikra. Again, we were speaking about the mitzvahs that pertain mostly to Kohanim, and that's exactly what we'll be doing today. I'm going to share the screen from Sefaria.com, and we'll be on with it. Here we go. So the Torah says this is just the tail end of Perek Kaf Bet. Earlier it went through the different details of a Kohen who can't work because he's not healthy. And it also speaks about different illnesses and korbanot and animals that disqualify them from coming to the Beit HaMikdash. The next is Pasuk Kavav. I skipped a bit because that went into a lot of details about the different illnesses, etc. So I'm not going to read through everyone. So here we go. Pasuk Kavav. Vaydaber Hashem el Moshe lemor. Shor o kesef o ez ki valed v'haya shivat yamim tachat imo. If a ox or a sheep or a goat is born, it will be for 7 days with its mother. Only after it's spent 7 days with 7 full days with its mother, you can take it for a korban. But if you to just take it right when it's born is really cruel to the animal, and you cannot bring it. It's not a kosher korban if you bring it earlier than that. Similarly, if you have a sheep or a ox, you should not slaughter the father and the child at the same day. If you bring a korban todah, Thanksgiving offering, you should do it of your own will, not because not because you're just forced to. It must be eaten on that very same day. Ani Hashem, you should not leave any leftovers until the morning, because I am Hashem, ani Hashem. And you should do the mitzvahs that I tell you. I am Hashem. There's one of the most, if not the most important mitzvah in the Torah is hiding right here. In the middle, between these different details, you have this mitzvah that's so fundamental, so important. It's one of the most basic mitzvahs. V'lo techalalu et shem kodshi. You should not do a chilul Hashem. You should not desecrate my name. And how many times do we hear people say you shouldn't behave inappropriately because it's also a chilul Hashem? It's a desecration of God's name. So it's something that often you hear because the idea is you're supposed to follow the next part of the pasuk. I should be sanctified among Bnei Israel. That is the mitzvah of Kiddush Hashem. If a person behaves nicely, studies the Torah, and then is kind to other people, is honest, is a good person, that's a Kiddush Hashem. People say, wow, this person really studied the Torah and is doing what the Torah is expecting of them. That's the mitzvah of Kiddush Hashem. So there's a prohibition against Chilul Hashem and a mitzvah to sanctify God's name and do a Kiddush Hashem. So Ani Hashem Elokechem, Ani Hashem Mikadeshchem, Hamotzi Etchem Eretz Mitzrayim Liot Lachem Lelokim, Ani Hashem. I took you out of Egypt to be your God. And that brings us to Perek Kaf Gimel. Perek Kaf Gimel is very famous. We read it on all the holidays. You guessed why? Because it is the very same Perek that speaks about the different holidays and what to do. So here we go. Here are the mo'adim, the mitzvahs of the holidays that Hashem sets for you. First, what can we do without it? The most basic one, 6 days you could do work. On the 7th day, it's a Shabbat Shabbaton Mikra Kodesh. You should not do any kind of work. Shabbat hi la'Hashem b'chol moshvotechem. It is a Shabbat in all of your settlements. Now, holidays that don't depend on the day of the week, but actually depend on their calendar day. B'chodesh harishon, in the first month. Very important to note that in the Torah, when it says the first month, it's not talking about Tishrei. We think of Tishrei because of Rosh Hashanah as the beginning of the year. But actually, from the Torah's perspective, Nisan, the month of Passover, that is the first month because it is the month when we came out of Mitzrayim. So Hashem judges us in Tishrei, and that's why we say Shana Tova, but the first month that we start is the month of Nisan. So B'chodesh Harishon, in the first month in Nisan, Ba'arba'asar lachodesh bein arbaim. And the 14th of Nisan in the evening, after after midday, Pesach laHashem. You start bringing the Korban Pesach. You bring the Korban Pesach in the afternoon. However, you don't eat it until that evening. That's the Seder night. That's when they would start eating the actual Korban. That is the 15th of Nisan. It is Chag HaMatzot. Remember, we learned there are different names for Pesach. Chag HaAviv. Here you see Chag HaMatzot, Chag HaPesach, Chag HaCherut, the time of redemption. So there are 4 different names for Pesach. Shiv'at yamim matzot tochelu. You eat matzot for 7 days. However, the first night, the total obligation, you have to eat a kizayit of matzah the first night. Bayom harishon mikra kodesh yelachem. On the first day, it is a special holiday. In Eretz Yisrael, first day is a holiday. In Chutz La'aretz, outside of Israel, we do a 2-day holiday. Bayom harishon mikra kodesh yelachem. It's Yom Tov kol melechet avodah lo tasu. You do not do any kind of work. Vayikravtem ishel Hashem shivat yamim. You should bring sacrifices in the Beit HaMikdash 7 days. Shivat yamim. Bayom hashvi'i mikra kodesh. The 7th day is called Shvi'i Shel Pesach. The 7th day of Pesach. Bayom hashvi'i mikra kodesh. Kol melechet avodah lo tasu. You do not do any kind of work. Next, Vayidaber Hashem el Moshe lamor. Daber el bnei Yisrael. V'amarta alehem. Tell them, Ki tavo el haaretz asher ani noten lachem. If you come to Israel and you start harvesting, you should bring the first bundle that you harvest from the barley to the Kohen. Let me see if we can get a picture. Here we go. So this is how it sort of looks. You should bring your first bundle of wheat. Well, not really wheat. You start with your first bundle of barley. That's on Pesach. Then you count 49 days, and on the 50th day on Shavuot, you have the shtei halechem, the first bread that you're going to eat. So that is the story with the Omer. You count from the first bundle of barley that you bring to Beit HaMikdash on the 2nd day of Passover, on the 16th of Nisan, and you count 49 days, and the 50th day is Shavuot. Okay, so you will start harvesting the first harvest. You should bring the very first Omer that you have to the Kohen. The Kohen will elevate the Omer, the bundle of barley, before Hashem, from the next day after Shabbat. This pasuk caused a huge debate between the rabbis and the tzaddukim. Tzaddukim were Jews in the time of the Beit HaMikdash who believed in the written Torah and the Torah Shebechtav, but they did not believe in the Torah Sheba'al Peh, in the oral tradition, in the spoken Torah. So when they saw something in the Torah, they always took it 100% literally. So when it said here that you start counting the Omer Mimacharata Shabbat, from the next day of the Shabbat, from the morrow of the Shabbat, they thought that meant from the day after Shabbat Chol HaMoed. The rabbis, however, had a tradition, the Torah Sheba'al Peh's tradition was that it was from after Pesach. When it says here Shabbat, it's after the Pesach. So Mimacharata Shabbat Yenifenu HaKohen. So the Tzaddukim counted only after from Shabbat Chol HaMoed, while we counted only from Pesach. When we learn that it says Mimacharata Shabbat, we understand that means only from after the day after Pesach. You don't need to wait till actual Shabbat. It's talking about Shabbat of Pesach. So ve'henif et ha'omer lifnei Hashem l'retzonchem mimacharata Shabbat yenifenu HaKohen. V'asitem b'yom hanifchem et ha'omer. On the day that you bring the Omer, this bundle, keves tamim ben shnato le'olad Hashem, you should bring a korban. Uminchato shnei esronim sol l'olav Hashem, and with the korban you bring oil. Yishel Hashem reach nichoach v'nisko yain revi'tain. You bring wine also with the korban. However, v'lechem v'kali v'karmel lo tochlu ad etzem hayom hazeh. You should not eat any grains until you bring this korban. And indeed, this is kept to this day. in Israel, and some people also outside of Israel, do not eat any grains that grew before the 16th of Nisan, and they only eat new grains once the 16th of Nisan came. So if you have grains that are, let's say, from last year, from before Passover of last year, they'll eat it. But if you have something that grew between Passover of last year and Passover of this year, it's called chadash, and it's not to be eaten in Israel, at least, until you have the 16th of Nisan. So velechem vekali vekarmel lo tochlu ad etzem hayom hazeh ad aviachem et korban elokechem chukat olam ledorotechem bechol moshvotechem. And now we come to a pasuk that is so beloved and so favorite to so many people. Usfartem lachem mimocharat haShabbat. You should start counting mimocharat haShabbat. Miyom aviachem et omer atnufa. From the day you bring the omer atnufa, the bundle of barley. Sheva Shabbatot Tmimot Tihiyena, 7 full weeks. And like I said, the rabbi's tradition, the Torah Shebaal Peh, was that you count those 7 weeks, you count them from the day after Pesach. When it says here Shabbat, it means Pesach, not Shabbat Chol HaMoed. Miyom aviachem et omer atnufa, sheva Shabbatot Tmimot Tihiyena, 7 full weeks they will be. And when do you end this counting? Ad mimacharat Shabbat Shvit tisperu 50 yom. You count until after the 7th week, meaning after 49 days comes the 50th day, tisperu 50 yom, veikravtem mincha chadasha al Hashem. And then you bring a new korban to Hashem from wheat. And that is, of course, the holiday of Shavuot. Holiday of Shavuot. Mimoshvotechem taviu lechem tnufa. On Shavuot, you bring a korban of bread, 2 beautiful loaves of bread. Shnei esronim solet tihiyena chametz te'afena. Unlike any other korban, these are chametz. These are pieces of bread that actually rise. Te'afena bikurim lahashem. Bikurim lahashem. They are bikurim to Hashem. Vayikravtem ala lechem, with the bread that you bring in the Beit HaMikdash on the holiday of Shavuot, also bring a korban, shiv'at kvasim tmimim, 7 kvasim, b'nei shana upar ben bakar echad, a ram, ve'elim shnaim, 2 rams, 1 ox, yu ola Hashem uminchatam v'niskem, isher reach nichoach Hashem, and you bring also the added oil, etc. V'asitem seirizim echad l'chatat, u'shnei kvasim b'nei shana l'zevach shemamim. Also more details about the korban you will be bringing in the Beit HaMikdash on Shavuot. What does the Kohen do with the bread that you bring on Shavuot? V'henifa Kohen otam al lechem habikurim tnufa lifnei Hashem. The Kohen brings that bread and the various animals that are offered as a korban in front of Hashem, al shnei kvasim kodesh yula Kohen, and he raises them in front of the mizbeach, and then the Kohen eats from it. And the holiday of Shavuot, korban or no korban, regardless, there is something special about it. Ukratem be'etzem hayom hazeh mikra kodesh yelachem. Regardless, on Shavuot, you have a Yom Tov. Remember, in Israel, Yom Tov means 1 day. Outside Israel, it means 2 days. Ukratem be'etzem hayom hazeh mikra kodesh yelachem kol melechet avodah lo ta'asu. You should not do any work on Yom Tov. Remember, on Yom Tov, it's not exactly like Shabbat. On Yom Tov, you are allowed to cook, you are allowed to carry even if there's no Erev, and you are allowed to do things to make food for Yom Tov even on Yom Tov. So in that way, it's different than Shabbat. But other than that, it's the same as Shabbat, that you're not allowed to do any of the 39 melachot. This should be forever and ever, wherever you live. Now back to the mitzvah that we mentioned before, such a beautiful, beautiful mitzvah, which, by the way, is also part of the reason we read the book of Ruth on Shavuot. When you harvest your field, don't forget, what part are you not going to harvest? The corner. Don't take the corner. And if pieces of wheat fall down, don't gather them. Leave them for the poor person and for the convert, the stranger. And that is what Boaz did in his field, and that's when Ruth came to eat at his field. The Torah continues with the next holiday. You guessed what it was. Hashem spoke to Moshe, in the 7th month. And remember, again, we're counting from the month of Nisan. We're counting from the month of Nisan. So the seventh month from Nisan, Nisan, Iyar, Sivan, Tammuz, Av, Elul, Tishrei, seventh month, Tishrei. The Be'el B'nai Yisrael Emor, B'chodesh HaShvi'i, Be'echad LaChodesh, in the first day of the month. Yihiyeh lachem Shabbaton, Zichron Torah Mikra Kodesh. You will have a day of rest, and of course, this is talking, what's the first of Tishrei? The one and only Rosh Hashanah. Mikra Kodesh. Kol melechet avodah lo ta'asu v'ikravtem yishel Hashem. You should not do any kind of work, and you should bring a korban to Hashem. And what comes next after Rosh Hashanah? Yep. Vaydaber Hashem el Moshe le'emor, ach ba'asor lachodesh hashvi, in the 10th of the 7th month. Remember, this is the 7th month starting from Nisan. So it is Nisan, Iyar, Sivan, Tammuz, Av, Elul, Tishrei. 7th month, Tishrei. Ach ba'asor lachodesh hashvi hazeh, on the 10th day of the 7th month, on the 10th of Tishrei, Yom HaKippurim hu. It's a day of atonement, a day of forgiveness. Mikra Kodesh yihiyeh lachem. This should be a holy day. Ve'initem et nafshotechem. You should deprive your soul, meaning we don't eat, we don't drink, we don't wear leather shoes, etc. V'ikravtem yishel Hashem, and bring a korban. V'chol melacha lo ta'asu be'etzem hayom hazeh. You do not do any kind of work on this very day. Ki Yom Kippurim hu lechaper alechem lifnei Hashem Elokechem. Because it is a day of atonement, and it's a day you're supposed to pray, etc. You're not supposed to be eating and indulging your body. Lechaper alechem lifnei Hashem Elokechem. Ki kol hanefesh asher lo tu'neh be'etzem hayom hazeh. Any person who is not fasting on this day, will be punished. Even if you do work on Yom Kippur. By the way, the work you can't do on Yom Kippur is not like Yom Tov. You can't cook or carry without Erev. You can't even do that. You can not do the same things that you can't do on Shabbat. You can't do any kind of work on Yom Kippur. Shabbat Shabbatonu lachem. It is the Sabbath of all Sabbaths. You should fast starting even on the 9th of the month, meaning at the end of the day, when it starts getting dark and the sun starts going down. That's when you stop eating and start Yom Kippur. For 20, from evening to evening, so it's about 25 hours, you should keep your Shabbat. What comes after Yom Kippur? You guessed correctly. Yes, after Yom Kippur comes the holiday of Sukkot. On the 15th of the 7th day of the 7th month, it is the Chag of Sukkot, and indeed it is 7 days. The first day is Yom Tov outside of Israel. It's 2 days. Kol melechet avodah lo ta'asu. Remember, the holiday of Sukkot has several names. It's not only Chag HaSukkot, it's also Chag HaAsif, and it's also Zman Simchatenu, the time of our happiness. Pasuk Lamed Vav, Shiv'at Yamim Takrivu, you should bring korbanot for 7 days, La Hashem. And this is different than Passover, because even though Passover also starts in the 15th of the month, and which month of Nisan, and even though Passover also has 7 days, this is unique because you have an 8th day, which is a holiday to itself. It's called Shmini Atzeret. Bayom Shmini Mikra Kodesh Yelachem V'Hikravtem Yishel Hashem. Atzereti. It's a special day. Kol Melechet Avodah Lo Tasu. Don't do any work. These are the holidays of Hashem. You should make special and distinct. You bring special offerings on these days. This is in addition to the different Shabbatot, milvad Shabbatot Hashem, umilvad matnotechem, besides for Shabbat, and besides for the regular sacrifices you bring to the Beit HaMikdash, umilvad kol nidrechem. What's a neder? A neder, a vow. This is also besides all the korbanot you may promise you're bringing on your own volition, your own will. And besides for all the gifts that you decide to give Hashem. However, now the Torah is going to emphasize a different aspect of Sukkot. On the 15th of the 7th month, aka the holiday of Sukkot. It's as you gather all the harvest into your house. Remember, after Sukkot, it's when it starts raining in Israel. This is the time everyone's bringing all the wheat that they worked on for an entire year. They're bringing it into their silos, into their storehouses, storage, and this is what they do. You should celebrate the holiday of Hashem 7 days. On the first day, it is a Shabbaton, a sabbatical, a day of rest. On the 8th day, it's also a Shabbaton. What do you do? This is the mitzvah everyone loves so much. You should take a pre-Etz Hadar is the Torah's word for etrog. Kapot Tmarim is the Torah's word for a lulav. It is the branches of palm trees. Vanaf etzavot, branches of leafy trees, meaning hadassim, myrtle. Varvei nachal, and also the willow, the branches of a willow that grow by a river. You should be very happy and rejoice in front of Hashem for 7 days. And here you have Shivat Aminim. So you have here these pictures. I'm sorry, not Shivat Aminim. I'm sorry, this is Arba'at Aminim. Sorry. So you have here, the Torah calls this fruit, which is a etrog. Let's see. This is an etrog, so this is a pre-Etz Hadar. It's the fruit of a fancy citrus fruit. You have here the palm, the kapot tmarim. It comes from a palm tree. It's the top of a palm. You have the myrtle, the hadassim, and then, oh, I'm sorry, that actually looks more like an aravah. Sorry, the hadassim are here, the myrtles are here, and the aravot, the myrtle, are right there. Here's another picture. You have the etrog right there. You see, anaf etzavot, the Torah refers to this as a branch of a thick tree, meaning it's very thick, the leaves. And you have these, they grow as the willow next to the water. So that is the Arba'at Aminim. You should rejoice before Hashem for 7 days. You should celebrate it. Shiv'at Yamim Bashana, Chukat Olam Ledorotechem. You should celebrate it 7 days a year. Chukat Olam forever and ever Ledorotechem. B'chodesh Hashvit Chogoto. In the 7th month, you should celebrate it. Basukot Teshvu Shiv'at Yamim. Basukot Teshvu. And you have here, Basukot Teshvu. Let's see what pictures we have here. Basukot Teshvu Shiv'at Yamim. Let's see. 1 second. So here is how your sukkah should look. It should have 3 walls and a roof. Now, Sukkot is unique because a sukkah is the only mitzvah where the Torah explicitly says that this is what you should be thinking when you are sitting in the sukkah. Why? So your generations know that I sat Bnei Israel in the sukkah when I took them out of Egypt. Ani Hashem Elokechem, I am Hashem your God. And so there's a machloket, 2 opinions. Either the sukkah that we're talking about that Hashem put us in when we left Egypt is talking about the clouds of glory that were above us, or that actually when we left Egypt, we actually had booth sukkot that we were living in. Vaydaber Moshe et Moadei Hashem et Bnei Israel el Bnei Israel. Moshe taught the holidays of Hashem to Bnei Israel. That brings us to the end of Perek Kaf Bet Kaf Gimel. Thank you so much for listening. The link is going to be in the video description, and I will see you next Perek. Thank you so much for